What are you taking a look at, Krystal?
Well, guys, lost in the news of Roe versus Wade and bombshell January 6th testimony was some major 2024 news. Biden is going to run. How do we know? Because he is already rigging the Democratic primaries to his own benefit. According to Biden aides interviewed by the New York Times, Biden is, quote, laying the groundwork by building resources at the Democratic National Committee, restocking his operation in battleground states, and looking to use his influence to, quote, shape the nomination process in his favor. They go on to spell out exactly what that means. Now, we already knew that he sent a top aide, Cedric Richmond, over to head up the committee, but he is making other moves as well. The president has moved to consolidate his hold on the DNC, not just by sending Mr. Richmond to the committee. Mr. Biden has also shifted both his social media assets and his lucrative fundraising list to the party, which has made the committee largely reliant on those channels for their own contributions. Furthermore, Biden is pushing to order the state primaries in a way that he thinks will be most favorable to his chances. So Iowa caucuses, the aforementioned when we were talking to Sagar, that as the jumping off point are actually out. Michigan, a state where Biden likes his chances because of his political allies in the state, is in. Now, you'll recall that Biden got clobbered in Iowa. He finished a humiliating 4th place behind Bernie, Pete, Warren, and narrowly edged out Amy Klobuchar. And although, of course, Bernie staged an incredible poll-defying moment in Michigan back in 2016, the Vermont senator has already taken himself out of the hunt for 2024, saying in no uncertain terms he will not run for president again if Biden is in the running. In fact, according to the Times, quote, earlier this month, when Senator Bernie Sanders said he would not challenge President Biden in 2024, Mr. Biden was so relieved he invited his former rival to dinner at the White House the next night. Man, those are a couple of very sad sentences for me to read. Biden's relief at Sanders' deference is a strong tell of 2 things. Number 1, he is planning on definitely running again. And number 2, he is definitely scared he could be beaten. And he is right to be afraid. Because as we've been discussing this week, even liberals are frustrated and disgusted with the failed leadership of Biden and co. In fact, those frustrations are so widespread, as has gone completely mainstream. Washington Post's Perry Bacon Jr. just penned an op-ed calling for the entirety of Democratic leadership, from Schumer to Pelosi to Biden, Hoyer, all the rest, to step down. In his telling, the total lack of response to Roe is a symptom of a much bigger problem for a party that has allowed an emboldened right to notch win after win over the past decade. We've lost state houses, squandered chances, and fallen short of their very low bar aspirations at every single turn. Now, the lack of response to Roe is a symptom of the fact that the Democratic Party functions almost exclusively as consultant and leadership protection racket. Any political or ideological agenda is wholly secondary at best. As he puts it, quote, we don't know exactly what can save the country from this radicalized GOP, but Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden don't either, and after about 20 years, it is well past time to give others a chance to lead. Now, those of us on the left have some ideas about what might save the country, but anyway, baby steps here. So with cracks in their standing among normie liberals and absolute apocalypse among young people, you can bet that Dems looking to keep their grip on the party will reach for their standard trump card, electability. They will tell the base that while they might be disgusted, ready for something different, they have no choice but to stick with Biden. Why? Because he'll win, the left will lose, and Trump is an existential threat, so we cannot risk it. But it's pretty hard to bet the whole farm on electability when your dude literally has lower approval ratings than Trump did, and Save a Miracle is about to get shellacked in the midterms. All those Dems who wanted Medicare for all but settled for Joe on electability, they are definitely looking for some other options. That's exactly why a majority of Democrats say they want someone other than Joe in 2024, a majority. In fact, my sense of why there have been so many will he or won't he stories about Joe for 2024 isn't because he or the party is genuinely not sure if he will run, but because other Democratic elites are genuinely not sure if he can win. They are trying to decide whether they need to pull out all the stops and call up Obama and try to force Joe out of the race. But as they ponder the electoral chances of Kamala Harris, eventually as they did last time, Democratic elites are going to suck it up and they're going to back Joe. Really is a replay of what happened in the Democratic primary in 2020. Obama, Clyburn, and other party leaders, they knew damn well what Joe's flaws were and what his limitations were. They tried in vain to find anyone who might be better. Top Obama staff flocked to Beto, remember that? They considered Kamala, some flirted a little bit with Pete. Finally, in desperation, they took a hard look at Amy Klobuchar. But in the end, they resigned themselves to the fact that there was no option other than Joe to block Bernie Sanders. This time around, that same pattern will play out. Dem leaders will leak to the press and float alternatives and pretend like they don't know damn well Joe is planning on running. But in the end, they will line up behind Joe Biden. This time around, though, the base may not be so easy to force into line. And in fact, after I wrote this saga, new report from NBC News. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.